Hi guys and welcome back to the 14th Frieren Friday. We're checking out episode 14 this time. Now that we've got a healer on our side, we are going to be able to tackle much tougher opponents, bigger threats, and have someone on our side who can heal us, who can fix us up and make us not so damaged and broken. So we'll see where we go from here. I'm excited to see this. I don't know where things are going right now. We're still going on this crazy adventure, running into new towns, villages, discovering new spells, tomes, and making new friends along the way. So we'll see where we go here. I'm excited to check this one out. As always, Frieren is an absolute blast. Always a highlight of the week. So let's just check this one out. If you guys enjoyed, please leave a like and subscribe if you haven't already, and comment down below letting me know how excited you are for season 2 of Frieren. And we're going to jump right into this one. So here we go. Frieren, episode 14. Let's go. 29 years after the death of Himmel, the hero in the Rad region located in the Northern Lands. We're back in the Northern Lands as ever. This adult next to these kids. Oh. Are we traveling in the same formation? Ooh, what are we gonna get? Are we gonna see a shop that reminds us of Himmel? Where we went with him? Ooh, what is the time? The time is 2:05 or 2:05 if you're American. Frieren, episode 14, Privilege of the Young. Is that talking about Stark and Fern? Oh no, privilege and then it just shows them fighting. That's so funny. I mean, we've been waiting for the Stark crash out for so long now, haven't we? When it comes to Fern. The lovebirds fighting. Aww. Oh, okay. I mean, she's got a right, especially after his birthday. She went and did something for him. This is true, though. Oh, come on, be so for real. The crooked cigarette. Okay. We're going to drop some party knowledge. You should. Is this going to be like a mirror of Himmel and Frieren's time when they went shopping? This time it's Stark and Fern. Oh, and he's looking at the bracelet. He feels bad, I'm sure. He's just a guy. Like, Stark is just a guy. And Fern's just a girl, of course. That's nice. She went after him instead. I mean, that makes sense, especially for Fern. She's never been around people her age. Oh.
しかしプレゼント忘れたとしても怒りすぎだと思うぞ。あいつ絶対そんなマメなタイプじゃないだろう。
He is, and that's my point.
自分の誕生日も覚えていないぜ。
And she knows that.
私はシュタルク様の誕生日にプレゼントをあげました。
But, yeah.
その時は一緒に選んだのか。好きなの選んでいいって言われて断るやつなんか普通いないぜ。きっとそれが大切な思い出だと思っているからだ。だから断った。ならさっさとシュタルクに謝って。
Yeah, do the exact same thing again.
あいつはガキなんだ。
He's slow.
仲直りしたいんだろ。思いってのは言葉にしないと伝わらないんだぜ。
The budding romance. I mean, I just love their dynamic. I love how, like, it's actually proving a point at how much more accustomed to and how much easier Fern finds it to talk to literally anyone that isn't her own age. Oh, a statue of Himmel. Oh, the face, not the Arthur face. Say sorry. Aw. They both feel bad, and that's really sweet.
一緒に選びに行きたかったんだ。俺、
Aw.
ヘレンが好きなものがわからなかったから。でも、こんなこと言ったらまた嫌がられるかもと思って言い出せなかったんだ。
嫌がったりなんかしませんよ。シュタルク様、すみませんでした。
Look at them. They're bonding and they're growing.
慣れてる。
本当にすみませんで
It's
した。
fine. I'm used to you being mean.
行こうぜ。
That's a crazy statement. I have expected them to hold hands there. I don't know why. In front of the statue of Himmel. Why is she on the roof?
盗み見かよ。
Oh wow, shit, you too?
ザインこそ
Zine.
無事に
I need to remember it starts with like a Z sign. Or a Z if you're American. That's two in one
大人にな
video.
って人との距離感が分かるようになると
Not necessarily. Frieren's older than anyone, and she still doesn't necessarily understand relationships.
ガキの世話は大変そうだ。
Yeah. I mean, one of those kids looks after
距
her.
離感って何？
ガキ3人だったか。
Yeah, you're
フェラ
right.
俺に相談しに来たぞ。あんたにじゃなくて。一体俺を誰と比べて誰と重ねているんだろうな。
Think
フェルンは
other
ハイター
priest.
に
Yep,
育てられて
hider.
そんな偉大な僧侶と比べられちゃたまったもんじゃないぜ。
全然偉大じゃないよ。
Corrupt.
先まで二日酔いになっていたし
Oh dear. Not the disorientation cam.
多いし、やめろ。よく嘘もついた。
お酒飲んでないよ。
ただの生臭坊主だったよ。ザインは
But he was
それを
your
破
corrupt
壊そうだ
priest.
けど
You're even more depraved? What do you
で
mean?
も意外だったな。俺の記憶にあるハイター様は優しくて頼りがいのあるじいさんだった。
You didn't travel with him for 10
理
years
想的な大人だった。
when he was at his peak, like, I don't know, age, I
ハイ
guess.
ターって変わったよね。大人っぽくなった。
老
You
人
noticed?
相手に何を言っているんですか。年を取ると自然とこうなるんですよ。と言いたいところ
Which
で
is
すが
considering
本当は
Frieren
私の心
is the same
は
as
子供
ever.
の頃からほとんど変わっていません。
Hardly changed, shit.
理想の大人を目指して大人のふりをしてそれを積み重ねてきただけです。きっと私は死ぬまで大人のふりを続けるでしょう。
yourself.
子供には心の支えになる大人の存在が必要ですから。特にフェルンは努力家です。たくさん褒めて導いてあげないと。
それじゃあ死ぬまで大人のふりを続けたハイターは誰が褒めてくれるの？
そのために女神様がいるんですよ。天国に行くまではお預けですが。
Aw.
じゃあこっちでは私が褒めるよ。
We're reversing that role from
でも
when they were
あな
traveling
たに
together.
人間である私の気持ちはわからないでしょう。
Aw.
思いのほか悪くはないですね。フリーレン、私が天国に行ったら
For
女
you.
神様に話を通しておきます。あなたはやはり女神様に褒めてもらうべきです。
Aw.
ザインはちゃんと大人やれていると思うよ。
Proper adult. Getting
こ
me
れがお姉さ
emotional
んからだった
again.
ら最高だったんだけどな。
That is an older woman. You silly
私ほ
guy.
どのお姉さんはなかなかいない
A
よ。
few are older than me. But you don't act it. That's the point. 29 years after that, found a hero in the Bande Woods located in the northern
あり
lands.
がとう。
実は私、この先の村の商人でして、代々装飾品店を営んでいます。
Accessory shop. Traverstown?
ブレスレット新しく買ったの？
Oh, I'm embarrassed.
これは
He's
可愛
sleeping.
い衣装だね。私同じデザインの指輪持ってるよ。前にヒンメルにもらったんだ。
Himmel did give it to you. Oh, that's from. Oh. No.
整理整頓しないから
We。saw it like an episode or two ago. Okay, thank God. What the hell? Not the ring. No, it means so much.
鳥型の魔物って狡猾で魔力を隠すのが
That's
うまいんだよ
really funny. Look at the horsey.
馬車くらいなら浮かしたりできんだろ。
シュタルク、 空飛ぶ馬車って見たことある？
Look at it, we're in one right now, yeah.
意外かもしれないけど、私たち人類が空を飛べるようになってからまだ40年も経っていない。
Only 40 years?
人類が使っている飛行魔法は魔族の魔法術式をそのまま転用したもので、
難しいことはいいから俺にも分かるように話してくれ。
原理がわからないまま使っているから応用ができないってこと。
Whereas for the Zoltraak, that was stripped apart and you figured out literally everything about it.
なあ、俺は
シュタルクは飛び降りて。
何言ってんの？死んじゃう
That's
と
a
思
big
うんだけど。
jump.
戦士ならこのくらいの高さで死なないでしょ。
死ぬに決まってんだろ。
What are you talking about? It's a large height.
おかしいな。アイゼンは自由落下ゲームならどんな高さでも無傷だったよ。
Aizen was just built different, come on. Head first!
なんなのこいつ。
Holy
ハイタ
shit.
ーがドン引きしていた。
Hyder was appalled. He was far from normal.
地面に衝突する直前に馬車を浮かせるというのはどうですか？
自由落下を相殺できるか計算しないと。威力を殺しきれないと私たちはごちゃ混ぜのミンチになっちゃうから。
こいつ獲物を地面に叩きつけて狩りをするタイプの魔物だぜ。
Oh no. Here we go.
そう。
Off she goes. Okay, we kill it quick.
まあ何事も挑戦か。
We're gonna try levitating it right before it falls. Alright. Oh. That was still a big bang. Did we do much? Oh, the horsey! The horsey lived. I'm glad.
生きてる。
どうやらうまくいったみたいだね。
何がだよ。どういう計画？
You call that a plan? I'm glad the
馬
horsey's
は軽
okay.
傷だった。治療も終わったぞ。
Oh, that's good.
だが馬車はダメだな。修理が必要
Yeah,
だ。
the carriage is done. We're gonna fix the carriage.
どこ行っちゃったんだ。
The ring.
最近暖かくなってきたな。
そろそろ衣替えですかね。
そういやフェロン、そのブレスレットって。
はい。シュタルク様からの誕生日プレゼントです。
選ぶのに3時間もかかった。
結局シュタルクが選んだのか。
私が好きに選んでほしいと言ったので。
大変だったな。一番苦労するパターンだ。
ああ、
That's so
これは
funny.
いけるのか。顔色を伺いながらの3
Just
生きたこと
does she like it? Does she not?
かわいそうにな。
全部聞こえてる。
They're not even trying to hide it.
気に入ってもらえたからよかったよ。
Aww. And that makes it all worth it.
お前はもっとヘタレかと思っていたぜ。
I didn't think you had it in you, kid.
花言葉はクオンの愛情だ。
Oh,
恋
shit.
人に贈るものだぜ。
They're lovers. And guess who else had one?
知らなかったんだ。誤解だよ。俺が花言葉なんて知
I
って
think
いる
it's
と思うか。
nice.
そうですよね。バカです。
いつにも増して辛辣。
Does she know?
自分だって知らなかったくせに。
何か言いましたか？
Did someone say something? Holy shit, she's cold.
買い直しましょうか。
This is the one
こ
she
れはシュタ
likes.
ルク様が一生懸命選んで私にくれたものです。
And their love will be
二度とそん
eternal.
なこと言わないで。
Oh, she's so cold, but like she also says the right things sometimes. Well, more like all the time for the most part. I wonder if Himmel knew what the design meant when he got her the ring. Oh my god, Frieren, what is that? How is Fern sleeping like that? That's really funny though, the Frieren sleeping positions. Iconic. Hell yeah! But Frieren did not find the ring. And that's very upsetting to her.
フリーレン様。馬車の修理が終わったので、明日の早朝には出発するそうです。
そう。
何を探しているんですか？
ヒンメルからもらった指輪。
手伝います。
Aw,
見
she...
つかるまで出発を待ってもらいましょう。
Oh, Fern recognizes this is something important to her, and this is
なくし物には慣れている。
yeah, but
ヒンメルからもらったものはあれだけじゃないしね。
花言葉はクオンの愛情だそうです。
そう。知らなかった。
eternal because she will
ヒンメルも
live
そんな花言葉知らなかったと思う
essentially eternally.
それでも きっと大事なものです。
I think Fern hearing is from Himmel and it's something she wants, like Frieren wants. Oh shit, nice. That's very handy and convenient. The world of Frieren is so beautiful.
フリーレン、君は今回の討伐依頼で頑張ってくれたからね。好きなものを選んでくれ。
Choose what you'd
アクセサ
like.
リーか。魔法店の方が嬉しいんだけど。じゃあこれでいいよ。
This one will do. He knows. He knows what it means. Oh, eternal love. Oh. It's like a big arrow just pointing right towards it.
フリーレン、
ありがとう。
Arigato. Just like so nonchalantly. Oh, he's getting done. Oh. That's so cute. Oh my god, Frieren. Jeez. This series kills me. I'm really going through it every episode of this series.
フリーレン様、
Yeah, that was such a nice moment.
そうかもね。
Aw, you just... I don't know if it's that she doesn't
ところで
quite fully realize how she feels or what.
シュタレク様が
That's not it. You had the opportunity to say yes to returning it and you didn't. That killed me at the end there. And so that was episode number 14 of Frieren. What a beautiful episode about love, learning to love, acceptance. Just everything that this episode had was so important for both Frieren and also for Fern and Stark. Because in a way, Fern and Stark are kind of mirroring Frieren and Himmel, but not actually. It's almost like they're mirrored, but everything that happened with Frieren and Himmel are done in the opposite way. And an example of that being when Himmel and Frieren went shopping, Frieren picked out her own present very quickly. Whereas when Fern and Stark went out shopping, Stark picked out the present and it took a very, very long time. Another example being that in this instance, I don't know if it actually is the case, but Fern might have known what this design meant. And so assuming she did know, I don't think they ever confirm or like deny whether she knew what the design meant prior to him buying this for her. But if she knew, then she is kind of like the Himmel in this situation, the person buying the gift, and she's accepting it knowing what it is, whereas in the other, Frieren didn't have a clue and she was selecting the gift for herself from Himmel who knew what it was. So it's kind of like there's some opposite stuff going on there where the relationship is same and mirrored but very much different, and I love seeing that because I feel like Fern and Stark, they have this great dynamic where they do kind of get each other, but also they just get on each other's nerves. And for Stark especially, he values and craves that companionship in the sense that he needs someone that he can talk to. He needs someone that he can share his life experiences with, commune with, and he really did try with Fern. And I think a big part of that is because she is a similar age to Stark, and so he found some common ground there and wanted to share time with her, but he has been kind of like, I wouldn't say rejected, but he's been kind of put down again, where Fern is constantly being upset and mad with him. And sometimes it does come across very unfair, but you know, sometimes it does also come across that Stark also doesn't know how to talk to someone like this. And yeah, I think that this episode did an incredible job at showing how Frieren's character has been changing. Her mind, how it works, has been changing. She, at the beginning of the series, was saying shit like it's only been 10 years, you know, what's a 10-year journey, you know, and she left. She left the group, the party of heroes, for 50 years. And then came back to meet them again. Now we're continuing to see all these moments where she's recalling these memories with the party of heroes, either during her time traveling with them or afterwards, as we saw with Hydra in this episode, and she's recalling those memories with great fondness. And that's something that Frieren probably wouldn't have done in the past. She would not have recalled these moments with fondness. She just would have recalled these moments as time in her life. And we very visibly and audibly kind of get some kind of confirmation that this ring is very important to her when we literally see her leaving every night to go try and find it. That's kind of indicating that she's foregoing sleep, which we know sleep as something to be very important to Frieren. She will sleep all day if she gets the chance. So she's skipping out on sleep to go find this ring. She's trying her best. She is going out every single night to try and find this thing. And then when she does find the ring and she gets it, Fern asks, "Are you happy and glad that you're able to find it?" She replies with maybe with a smirk. And she's obviously very happy. She's smiling when she finds the ring because of the spell that she just got. And yeah, it very clearly means a lot to her. That was kind of made apparent as well in the episode where Fern was getting a gift for Stark, because Frieren came across the ring and the way she looked at it, it did look to be very important. So I'm glad that that has been addressed already. I was kind of dreading not getting an answer as to what that ring was for a very long time. But learning that it is a ring of eternal love, that means a lot. And that, I think, is kind of ironic because the relationship between Himmel and Frieren did seem very loving. And it did seem like there was potential for there to be romance there. But from what I think I've learned from this series, watching it, it's more so that Himmel is teaching Frieren about love. And Frieren is learning what love is through Himmel. I don't think it's a romantic relationship. I don't think they had any romantic moments per se, because I feel like we would have known that by now. But everything is very romantic at the same time, the things that Himmel is doing for Frieren. And I wonder if this ring of eternal love is kind of this world's version of a wedding ring, because that's kind of how it appears. When Himmel, I understand that an engagement ring and a wedding ring are completely different. You know, I am married after all. The way he gets down on his knee and puts a ring on her finger, it's almost like in that moment they sign some sort of contract of love or something. Like, I don't know. Like, I don't know how this world works. I don't know how that whole symbol works, but it's very sweet, that moment, and I was very emotional watching it. Just everything about Himmel gets me all worked up. Like, it really just gets the old floodgates rolling. And I don't know, Himmel here, what an incredible character. And Frieren, of course, as well. She is an incredible main character. For someone who doesn't understand any of this stuff, we are watching her learn, and we're watching her evolve and understand humans and everything, their emotions, their feelings, the way they do things, why they do the things they do. And it's been a treat to watch unfold. The way the episode starts, they're in this new town, village, I don't really know what it is, and then we get Fern and Stark shouting at each other, and they're not happy with one another. Fern is upset with Stark. Stark is upset with the way Fern treats him. Whereas Fern just seems to be very upset by something we don't learn until what it is a little later. And it's because it's her birthday and Stark hasn't done anything for her. Hasn't got her a gift or anything. And we don't actually see what Frieren got for Fern, but you know, one can only assume Frieren got her something. And Zine is like, well, I didn't get you anything either, so, you know, why am I not in trouble? And then he's like, I get it. It's because men don't really care about things like that. And I think that that's a shitty answer. That's a shitty response, especially in this situation. Like, Zine, you deserve to get your shins kicked for this. So yeah, Zine is someone who very clearly has real world knowledge and real world experiences. During this conversation, even though Zine is saying a lot of the wrong things, he does impart some knowledge, like you should go after him and everything like that. Like that Stark, being as the age that he is, you know, girls could maybe be driving him crazy, and he doesn't know how to react to that. He doesn't know anything like what that means. And yeah, while that is also true, like, it's not really an excuse, but also, like, Fern doesn't really have an excuse either. Like, they both kind of do things that are inexcusable here, and that's why I think that it's important that both of them apologize to one another later in the episode. So Fern goes to try to confront Stark because she thinks that's the right thing to do. She's going to confront Stark and apologize or something. I don't know what they're going to do in this moment, but when she sees Stark just sitting there, she gets a little annoyed and leaves. And we see that Stark is staring at his bracelet, the one that Fern got for him for his birthday. So that kind of tells us that he probably feels bad and he probably wants to do something for Fern. But she doesn't really see this, and so she leaves and seeks out Zine, and Zine is about to buy a little pouch with a butterfly on it, very reminiscent of the hair clip that she has. And that's when she approaches, and Zine really kind of like reads her like a book and says, you just don't know how to interact with boys your age, and that's why you came to find me, basically, because you're not really scared of me. And I'm kind of putting words into his mouth here. This isn't what he says. And I don't think she's scared of Stark either, but she doesn't understand. I don't think it's just men. I think it's just people in general who haven't matured, I guess. And I'm not saying that Zine is mature, but he's definitely got more maturity than Stark does. And she grew up with Hyder, who was a very old man at the time, and with Frieren. Growing up with Frieren is got to be a very unique experience because she's not really gonna give you a normal life because she doesn't understand what normality is. So there is no normal to Frieren. And I think Zine makes Fern realize what's happening here because he says that Stark probably doesn't even remember his own birthday, so try not to be too upset by it. And yeah, like we do know that because in the episode where Fern went to get Stark something for his birthday, that was exactly the case. He doesn't think of birthdays as anything special, so this is not something he's used to. This is very new to him. Zine kind of brings forth the idea of, why don't you go with Stark and buy a present together? That would be a nice memory for both of you, and it would mean a lot. And also that way you can apologize to him and you can make up and everything will be okay again. And he does very sneakily say young boys his age, they're a little slow in the uptake, they don't understand, but the only way to make him understand is if you share that with him. And I don't know if he's indicating that Fern likes Stark in a romantic sense, or if it's just that Stark doesn't understand Fern because Fern doesn't understand Stark. Fern needs to make Stark realize that she actually does enjoy spending time with him, and she does like him. She does like traveling with him, and she does consider him a good friend. But Stark probably doesn't see that because of what Stark experiences through Fern, with Fern. And so in front of the statue of Himmel the hero, Stark and Fern have a face-to-face once again where they both say sorry. They're both kind of nervous and awkward and weird around each other, but Stark shares that he wanted to get a gift with her. He wanted to spend that time to get her something she wanted because he doesn't know what she likes, and that he's sorry things got heated and that he was embarrassed to say he didn't know what she would like. And Fern's kind of like smiling at this point. It's like, I wouldn't have been upset with you. I get it. I understand and thank you. But I'm also very sorry that I was the way I was. But Stark's like, no, that's fine. I'm used to you being this way, which is very funny. So they go off to get something together. Also, I feel like it's been a while since I've done it, but let me just continue to add to the praise for Evan Call's wonderful, beautiful. Everything is just perfectly fitted and suited and tailored for every scene OST. This is such a great experience and only bolstered by the fact that this OST is incredible. And then we do get to see Frieren kind of stalking and watching from a rooftop, which is kind of crazy. And I'm like, wow, Frieren, that's a little weird, no? Watching these two kids. But that's when Zine also comes up and it's like, oh, are you creeping? Well, he also goes on to creep. So I think it's pretty funny that they played the scene that way. And Zine drops a real zinger of a quote here where he says, you start to understand relationships. I think that's the word he uses, relationships, more when the older you get, I think. I said zinger of a quote and then I butchered the quote because I didn't even look at the quote, but you know what I mean. So he says that, and then immediately I'm like, well, Frieren is older than any of you and she does not understand relationships at all. She doesn't get it. She can understand a master-apprentice relationship, but that's probably about as far as it goes in terms of like fully understanding it. I'm sure Frieren herself has deeper feelings of protection and love for Fern and Stark, these babies that she's been traveling with. but she probably doesn't know that herself yet. She probably doesn't understand why or how that is, or even that she has those feelings. It might be something that comes up later down the line. It's really funny that this whole journey that they've been on and following these past 14 episodes have been following Frieren as she learns more about people, while Zine over here is saying the older you get, the more you understand people and relationships. Because while one, not necessarily the case in point Frieren, but also two, very much the case in point Frieren, if that makes sense. Like up to 100 years ago, I don't think Frieren even cared about learning about humans or anything like that, but now she does, and that's what she wants to do. And so she spent 1,000-ish years, 900 plus years, not caring, whereas now she spent the past 100-ish, less than 100, but you know what I mean, actually wanting to learn and caring. So I think it has to be something you choose to want to learn, but also like I think that the circumstances of your own living situation matter, because with Frieren, she's alive essentially eternally, whereas humans are not. So humans do learn to understand, humans do learn to evolve, and they do learn to mature. Whereas Frieren, she doesn't have to care about any of that. She doesn't have to worry. And Zine recognizes that he finds it strange that Fern came to him for advice opposed to Frieren, and he kind of realizes, oh, it's because you're also a child. So it was literally 3 children traveling together, and now I'm the adult here to keep things right. Like that's how it feels with the dynamic, and I'm loving it already. I think the Zine brings a much needed level head to this group, I think. And then Frieren and Zine spend some time talking about Hyder, and Frieren says that he was the ideal grown-up, and I think that in her mind saying that is that he was acting how someone should act when they're older. But I don't know how to interpret that, because she's been calling him corrupt the entire time, and when we see the flashback where she calls him mature and he simply says that that's how people act when they're older, and then he says that I'm also just acting how I think someone my age should act. I'll probably be acting until the day I die, and I'll not really truly be myself. I'll be the person that I should be, and that's because the person that I really am is still the person I was when I was a child. I still feel that same way. I still have those same thoughts, and I can't really be that person because of my age. I have to act my age. So Frieren saying that he was an ideal grown-up is a little peculiar here, because I feel like acting and pretending isn't really like ideal. Whereas on the other hand, I do agree that he was a great role model for Fern, and he was a great master, a great grown-up, and everything that Fern needed while she was that young tender age. And yeah, I do agree with her in that sense. But yeah, it's just the thing that they talk about right after this moment in the scene where, you know, he does talk about pretending, I just don't know how Frieren took that moment, how she took those scenes, how she took those words, what she remembers here or something. Like I don't get it. And so Frieren and Hyder kind of returned the conversation to something they talked about a while ago, about needing praise, meeting the goddess, and being praised. How Frieren needed someone to praise her down here, and now we see Hyder saying that he won't be praised until he dies and goes to heaven and meets the goddess. So that's why Frieren says, I can praise you down here. And Hyder's like, I don't think you'll be any good at that. But all she does is rubs his head. She pets his head. And I think that that's very much what he needed in this moment. Frieren kind of remembers how Hyder reacted to this, and it's funny because this is a complete role reversal with the head rubbing, right? And Hyder himself even says, wow, that feels better than I thought it would. And they're both smiling during this scene. It's a very beautiful flashback, as every flashback is in this series. And then that's when Hyder says, Frieren, I will talk to the goddess for you once I get to heaven. And yeah, I don't know if that's like yeah, you've done enough bad things that someone's gonna have to talk for you, or if it's just like an assurance of like, you'll get that praise, the praise that you so need. But then it does cut back to Frieren doing the exact same thing to Zine's head. She is rubbing it, and he's just kind of like allowing it. He's not fighting her on it, and he says that, wow, this would have been really nice if it had been an older woman, because yes, Frieren is very old, but she does not act it. She is very young, you know, in mentally, you know, because she hasn't had to mature, she hasn't had to grow up, she hasn't had to worry about her time coming close to an end or anything like that. So then we continue on to the rest of the episode where they're traveling by carriage, and we see that Fern has got a bracelet, one that Stark picked out for her, spent 3 hours picking it out. And Frieren does then recall that she has a ring that looks very similar to the bracelet design that Fern has. And I think that's a really nice shared thing that they have. They have something in common. But also, like, the way she's so frantically looking for this, it's very obvious that this is very important. And when she says, Himmel gave it to me, I think that kind of clues Fern into, like, okay, this is important. And Fern even says, really? And I think that this is why I believe Fern knows what this design means. Because Fern's like, really? You have a design just like this? I don't think it's more like, oh shit, you have the same design. I think it's more like, wait, Himmel got this for you? I think that's kind of how I'm taking this now that I look back at this moment. But of course, right as she finds the ring and pulls it out of the suitcase, an aviation, like a flying monster shows up and rips the carriage up, and yeah, the ring goes flying, and bye-bye ring at that point, right? Like, you're never going to see that ring again. Like, it's finding a needle in a haystack at that point. And it's really funny continuously seeing these moments where Frieren compares Eisen with Stark, because it further shows she does not know anything about how people are or anything like that. She's just going off of experiences she's had. She doesn't know that Eisen was a different beast, a different animal entirely. Like, he literally did a full rocket jump off the top of a cliff and landed on his head completely fine. Like, what a maniac. And she thinks that Stark could do that? Stark would die. And Stark says this, and Frieren's like, what kind of warrior are you? You can't even jump off this height. Eisen the warrior could have done that, and he would survive, and he'd be okay every time, even though it appalled Hyder. But yeah, the more and more we go on, the more we learn that Eisen was built different. Frieren gets out of the carriage and kills the beast and protects the carriage. As it's about to fall, she casts a levitation spell, which protects them from dying when they fall. But the carriage does take a lot of heavy damage. The carriage crashes into the ground and bang. But we do thankfully see that everyone is alive, everyone is okay, and the horse is okay. The horse is barely damaged, barely hurt, as the human says, the merchant, which is great news. And then we get a really funny moment where Frieren's like, yeah, it looks like the plan was a success. And Stark's like, that was a success. And Zion's like, that was a plan. Like, yeah, I need more Stark and Zion content. I really love already just how they are in this group. I love that Stark now has someone to bounce off of for moments like these, and yeah, I can't wait to see what other hijinks and wacky situations they get into that they kind of like bounce off each other. They spend the next I don't know how long fixing up the carriage, and we learn that things are starting to get warm, so Stark's questioning whether they should be removing more clothes, traveling lighter in sense of clothing. And then that's when we do get the scene where Stark learns what the symbol means on the bracelet, and he's very like, oh, like he seems like he's really stunned and just like completely not okay with it in a way, whereas Fern's reaction is like, it's okay, you're an idiot. It's not like a, oh no, like you got me something that means eternal love. Like, it wasn't that at all. She almost had no reaction other than to call him an idiot, and in doing that, again, it makes me think she knew what the design was. But she allowed it anyway, which I think says a lot. And Fern also does comment that you spent a lot of time picking out this gift specifically for me, so why would I ever want to return it? We see another incredibly wacky sleeping position from Frieren, and then we see that she decides that she's going to go out looking every night for this ring. And yeah, it's very sad to know that it seems so impossible to find this ring, but she does not give up hope and she continues anyway. But then once the carriage is made, she's out that night, and Fern approaches her and says, hey, we're going to be leaving tomorrow, so why don't you just tell me why you've been slipping out every night? And that's when Frieren does say about the ring, and Fern's like, never mind, we're not leaving tomorrow, we'll leave whenever we find this thing. This is the most important thing. It just goes to show Fern recognizes this is a big moment for Frieren. This is a moment where Frieren is showing she cares about something from someone. I think Fern does know that Himmel is the guy in Frieren's life, and that Himmel, even in death, is going to be the one to bring Frieren out of her shell. But then she also does know that it's this symbol of eternal love, and I think that means a lot to Fern, and Fern doesn't want that to go missing for Frieren or something. Yeah, I feel like I'm butchering my words, but I think I'm getting the point across well enough that you'll hopefully understand what I mean. And Frieren is kind of just in the mindset of, it's okay, I lose things all the time, it's not important. But Fern's like, nah, this shit's important. We're gonna find this thing. And that's when she teaches Frieren what the symbol meant. But Frieren is like, I doubt Himmel even knew that. So they go back to the merchant. The merchant just so happens to have a spell for finding lost things, which is very convenient, and it really just helps save this episode because Frieren is able to locate the location of this ring and go and get it. And it's a very beautiful moment where we get to see the flashback. I did talk about this flashback already at the beginning of this post-episode talk, but Frieren picking out the ring so quickly almost seems so dismissive of the situation, but Himmel recognizes what this ring symbolizes, and he does not let this opportunity go to waste, and he pretty much bonds himself to her eternally with this ring. And I really do love the scene. I think it's so beautiful. I think that watching Himmel and Frieren grow closer over these episodes, it's such a special thing to watch unfold, and it really breaks my heart, and that's why I get so emotional every time, because we know Himmel is no longer with us, and we know that there's not going to be any resolution for this while Himmel is alive, and the only way to get some resolution and some closure is for them to go to Ende and meet with the dead Himmel, and it just makes it so sad and upsetting to me. But yeah, the scene is beautiful, the lighting is beautiful, the OST is beautiful, the animation is beautiful, the coloration, everything is just beautiful. And when Fern asks, aren't you glad we didn't give up and we found this thing, Frieren pulls it up to her heart and says, maybe, with a smile. And we know what that means. We know that she understands and she's learning, and it's just nice to see these new emotions and these new experiences for Frieren. I think that it's really interesting following a really old character like this who doesn't know shit about anything and learning things like a child would, learning things like an adult would, learning things like a teenager would. I really love the way this series is unfolding. And yeah, that's basically then how this episode wraps up, with a little joke about Stark being an idiot again. That's probably gonna do it for me for today. I love this episode a lot. This episode really, like every episode before it, brought me to a really emotional place. And yeah, what a special series this is. I know I say that a lot, but Frieren, incredible. What a great episode. What a great series so far. We are probably like halfway through at this point, right? I don't actually remember if it's 26 or 28 episodes, but we're making good progress. And yeah, I hope that you guys enjoyed. If you did, please leave a like and subscribe and comment down below letting me know how excited you are for season 2 or just anything at all. And yeah, I will see you in the next one. I hope that you're able to have a great day today and that you're able to take it easy. I will see you in the next video. Take care.